What is up, folks? So, yeah, I'm still alive, and do I have a story for y'all? So to start off, new digs, new daily, yeah, ST, pretty fun, couple bolt-ons. Yeah, making some big moves on the car here. Just last week got the first fire off. But yeah, hasn't run since about November of 15. What happened was, and yeah, don't mind the dirtiness, been busy around here. So, right before cruising 2015, cannonballing out to Biloxi for Cars and Coffee. I'm the oldest one in the group. Like, my friend Kim had her brand new 15 Mustang. There's a Viper, Corvette, all this stuff. And they just go from bombing down the road to hopping off the interstate real quick, because their cooling systems can handle that. Apparently, mine wasn't up to the task. So, ended up with that. About a month of the car just not quite feeling right, and then finally one day it just let go right between 5 and 6. And that's what started all this mess in here. So my first thought is, why take the top end of my motor apart just to put those stinking E7s and all that back on there? Lucky enough, a cousin of mine had a V8 Swap Ranger. He was stepping up his combo. So I bought his AFR 165's Trick Flow Stage 1 cam and mildly T-Moss ported Explorer manifold off him. And then I got to thinking, why put this nicely freshened up top end on a 20-something year old 86,000 mile short block? So I bought a refresh short block off a friend of mine in a local Mustang club. Guy he bought it from told him it was a 92 Mustang engine. Pull the heads off, nah, it was a standard output motor, no valve reliefs. So that's when I just so happened to have a set of Explorer rods and pistons sitting around, so put those in. And right about then is when a friend of mine had bought a notchback that already had a turbo small block Ford setup in it, and he was converting to a supercharged Coyote setup. He was selling off a bunch of stuff, and I guess by the time he got to the turbo kit, maybe he'd made the money he wanted to. I don't know, but for $300, I couldn't turn it down. So what it is a old school CarTech Outlaw setup. Biggest turbo you can option on that, a T76. Yeah, a T76 on a 302. As I like to call it, boost by gear the old-fashioned way. But I had it, so I decided to stick with it. More on how I made this work with what I want to do with the car later. Then, not long afterward, certain high water event happened. You might have heard about it. 2016 flood in Louisiana. Pretty bad. Managed to get most of the parts safe to high ground. Car itself, too. Unfortunately, the short block did see water. So, in the midst of all the hullabaloo going on after the flood, I had it sent off to a local machine shop, had them clean it up. Yeah, I know my original motor had forged pistons, and this is just an Explorer short block, but the old motor was still in the car, and frankly, I didn't have the time and space to try to rip it out to have it sent off and gone through, so it is what it is. After the flood, things kind of slowed down for a little bit. Had to get my new place set up, which was no easy feat. Life gets in the way. Yeah, Ian Malcolm said life finds a way. I say life gets in the way. Yeah, things kind of trudged along for a little while. Made a little progress here and there, whatever have you. Got the engine in. Finally moved it over to the garage once I had it built. Round about the beginning of the year, something between me and my cousin told us we need to start making headway on our projects. So, been making some serious strides since the beginning of the year here. As you might have noticed, the turbo sits where the battery used to be, so had to move it out back here. Yeah, personalized antique plate. Had picked these wheels up off a buddy of mine. The front runners are in decent shape. I borrowed a set from my cousin for the rear right now because the tires that came on my rears are, well, yeah. Still keeping it a stick. Picked up a G-Force T5 off another friend of mine with another Coyote swap notch. He was converting to an auto and got a hell of a deal on that. And then as far as making all this stuff work, so obviously relocated the battery because yeah, got a turbo living there now. The downpipe runs through where the power steering pump used to be. So, something I thought was pretty trick. Took a power steering pump from a V8 Explorer, put it where the smog pump used to be. Have a power steering reservoir from a 3-valve car a friend of mine had sitting around. The washer fluid bottle also used to live in there, and I've got an air filter there now. So, went ahead and got this beauty out of an older F-150. Just made some bracketry to mount it up there. Piping comes down through there. Little intercooler action. Then comes around up through there. Because overheating is what caused this whole issue. Big honking SVE radiator. LX grill bar delete. I've got it on my barbecue pit over there, but a 10 to 14 GT500 hood vent I'll be cutting down and eventually putting in here. Let some of that hot air out. Also now running the car on a Stinger Performance Pimp XS, which is plug-and-play Megasquirt 3 computer. You might have noticed the Spartan 2 controller hanging out over there. So the whole car is running off wideband now. That's where we're at. Just wanted to keep you people up to date on what's going on. Y'all have a good one. Oh yeah, and I've got the old motor sitting off to the side over here. One of these days I want to tear into it because I've had a few people swear up and down it sounded like my car had a cam in it. I personally kind of doubt it, but only one way to find out for sure.